Where are we going to ride today? Always the question. Beauty is you always have some choice. Just see where the bike takes us. This is Twin Lakes. So you're propped up on the bicycle so I can eat a tasty treat that's rather melted. I want to talk a little bit today about endurance riding. I've been doing some research on people who are endurance riders, and if you're a bike packer or a bike tourer, you're a little bit sort of like an endurance rider. Not to the extreme that those guys are, but you know what I'm saying. Good endurance riders have great tips. Some of those ways are very practical. One of them is form. Making sure your pedal stroke, feet in the right positions, all that stuff is fairly consistent. But the other thing is your position on the bike. Many say that there's a tendency for riders to be really stiff-armed, and as a result, you feel a lot more fatigue from that. What you should really do is rely upon more of your core, have your arms bent a little bit more. Thought that was really good advice. I've been putting that into practice a little bit today. The other thing is that as riders, I know I'm this way sometimes, is you start out in the day, you're feeling good, so you're pedaling really strong. They really encourage you to measure your pace early on. Pick a gear that you're comfortable in, stay in it. Don't try to go so full bore so early in the day because you've got all day to pedal that out. And you'll find that if you start that way, you'll oftentimes be able to finish and be a lot more comfortable throughout the day. Of course, food is one of the things they talk about. They talk about eating a good, healthy breakfast, stopping often to keep refueling your body, but also don't be afraid to take breaks. Be sure to drink a good amount of fluids. Make sure that if you're sweating a lot, that you might need some hydration tablets, things that can give you some electrolytes back into your system outside of just plain old water. All of those things really are practical. But they also talked about training. As you're training, give yourself days when you're not necessarily always doing long rides, but do shorter, faster rides. And this made me remember back to people who do a lot of running and the reason in which they do sprints. It's to vary your cardiovascular work so that you get more variety and your body doesn't become sort of, in the same rhythm all the time. You got to mix it up a little bit. All of these things I've tried to put into practice a little bit on today's ride, and I haven't ridden a long distance. I'm only nine miles in, so we're only talking about 18 miles today, probably, something like that. But I can tell that I'm a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed, and part of that certainly is time in the saddle, but also part of it is implementing some of these strategies to relax more on the bike and not be as tense, and to remember that we're not really racing. We're just pedaling and touring. So maybe that's something we can all keep in mind. The other thing is if you bring stuff with you and you open it up and eat it, be sure to pack out the garbage. Don't leave garbage laying around. That's ridiculous. That lake, though. It's calm. There's very little wind today, which makes it seem hot. But there's a lake right here, and then directly behind us, I don't know if you can see this, is a creek back in there. That's some of Missouri's finest limestone. Creek Trail at the dog park. Just brought you in the back way. Well, 18 miles today, not too bad. It's good to be in the saddle again. Start thinking a little bit about what kind of things do you think helps your endurance? Even if you're just cycle touring or even if you're just city biking, are there things you do that make it easier for you to ride longer distances? I know I'm implementing some of those things and trying them out and seeing how it affects me. Today felt very relaxed. It was an easy ride. I didn't push it speed-wise, took my time, and it was enjoyable. So anyway, thanks for following along. I'll see you again soon.